I'm Jonathan Holmes. I'm a Brit and moved out to New Zealand, Wanaka, the last 5 years. I was diagnosed with cancer and a long journey through treatment and rehab. So here we are, sort of 5 years plus since treatment finished. The GP said, you've got testicular cancer, it's spread to your lymph glands. And I went, okay, so does this mean I can't do the Wellington Marathon this weekend? That is like, did you hear me correctly? Like, hold on, I've just told you you've got cancer and you're going, oh yeah, but can I do this run on the weekend? The consultant basically said, treatment hasn't been fully effective. You can have more treatment, and if you don't have treatment, you'll be dead in 3 months. I then went into a chemo regime which was 250% stronger than I had, and they said they'd found a regime of chemo which is so toxic to you, but it kills the cancer. Unfortunately, it is potentially terminal. But what they do is they collect stem cells from your blood supply and re-inject them back in, and then you start making your own blood cells again. So I couldn't use pens, I couldn't use buttons on trousers. So I ended up having elasticated trousers. When you try and eat food, you can't use a knife and fork. You don't have no control, so you end up using a spoon. So you end up kind of like this, I don't know, I've had a kind of flash, a view of maybe what I'm like when I'm 90. Elasticated trousers, no energy, eating food with a spoon. No attention span, can't read a book, can't drive. You know, I've got pedals to press in a car, that's an accelerator, there's a brake and there's a clutch. I can't feel my feet. After that more aggressive chemo, it's like some days you can get out of bed and you can get to the kitchen, other days you can't. So essentially it's sort of completely disabling. Like anything you thought, you know, if you were a fisherman and you like going fishing, I was into mountain biking, cycling, triathlon. You know, to get on a bike was a distant memory. That's pretty hard to deal with, the mental side of that physical change. I sort of saw the journey with the treatment as, I guess you look at your own life and go, what can I equate it to, or what have I done that might help? And ironically, I viewed the whole treatment as a triathlon. So I viewed the surgery at the beginning as a swim, and I'm not a good swimmer, I'm a nervous swimmer. Don't particularly enjoy it, but it's a necessary part to get onto the bike next. And then the bike and the run, they're long distances, but my approach to them is get to the next aid station, pick up the next banana or cookie, and ride to the next aid station. Because if you think of the whole journey of doing 3.8k swim, 180k on the bike, and then a marathon at the end, you've got to be insane. But if you've prepared yourself enough and you just put it into bite-sized chunks, you get caught by surprise that you're a quarter of the way through the journey, halfway through, 3/4, and you're finished. So yeah, I just took it as it came, step by step. At the end of my surgery, I'm so weak I can't physically get out of bed, and I do a deal with my wife. I am going to do an Ironman, and she's lifting me out of bed and lowering me onto the toilet. I can't walk, so how on earth do I do any part of this? I went to see a physio and personal trainer to get ready for surgery, so I kind of knew the importance of having a reasonable level of strength to survive, say, a surgery. So I checked in at a gym. You know, these guys are all pumping iron and doing exercises and doing planks and core strength. Yeah, it all sounds good, but you know, I couldn't lift 1 kilogram. I couldn't lift 1 bag of sugar. That was my strength training, was 1 bag of sugar or a couple of cans of baked beans. They label you a cancer survivor, and yes, well, that's true. It feels like a cancer treatment survivor, because the drugs mask what the cancer's doing to you and you're feeling all the side effects. So it's kind of like survive the treatment, get to the end, and then turn your attention to getting back from that to normal life. And I just knew that I just had to keep on kind of pushing it. So 3k walk became a 4k walk, became a 5k walk, became a 2k run, became a 3k run, and then it became a 7k run, became an 8k run. You can't increase the amount of exercise you do from week to week by more than 10%. Your body just can't cope week after week after week. I do that race in 12 hours. When I did it post-treatment, it wasn't 12 hours, it was 17 and a half hours. So, you know, I want to be a lot fitter than that. It's a lot of suffering. 17 and a half hours. It's far wiser to do more training and do it in 12, and then you can go and sit down have a massage and have some food, you know, as opposed to being out there for another 5.5 hours of suffering. I think whatever you do, like whatever your journey is to whatever event or goal you have, I think you just break it down and a little bit at a time, you get there. You know, people don't want you to fail, you don't want to fail. You'll feel so good when you get there, so you just keep going.